Hello, and welcome to Setting the Standard, the podcast about wireless radio standards creation from the Wireless Innovation Forum. I'm your host and Communications Director of the forum, Stephanie Hamill. Today I'm talking with Masoud Olfat of Federated Wireless and Richard Bernhardt of WISPA, co-chairs of the forum's new GVP task group. We'll discuss why it was formed and what it plans to accomplish. All right. Hi, gentlemen. Today I have Richard Bernhardt and Masoud Olfat, the co-chairs of the new GVP, Geofence to Variable Power Task Group, to ask you some questions. So I'll start with you, Richard. Can you tell me why this group came to be? Why is it needed?
Sure. I'm Richard Bernhardt. I'm the chairman of WIN Forum and also the co-chair with Masoud Olfat for the GVP task group. GVP stands for Geofence Variable Power, and it's a component of the 6 gigahertz band. And it came about here at WIN Forum after we created, alongside Wi-Fi Alliance, the standards for the 6 gigahertz band. And this is a shared band which operates alongside the incumbent operators which do point-to-point backhaul by license in the band. The FCC recently created a new category of operation, which is called Geofence Variable Power, and it's a component alongside the other uses in the band, such as standard power outdoor and VLP, very low power, and LPI, which is low power indoor. And all of these will operate together. And in order to have some organization and ability to coordinate these so as not to interfere with the incumbent uses, there has to be some standards created and some best practices in order to follow along with the rules that are created by the FCC. So the GVP task force exists to create the standards and the practices to work with the existing operations and to make sure that they can operate where they need to move. GVP allows for both indoor and outdoor operation at different powers and is set up to allow those operators to work without an automatic frequency control operation, but they still have to monitor where they're going to operate and how they're going to operate to protect incumbents. So that's what the GVP task group is set up to do, and we hope we do a good job for you. Masoud, did you want to add anything to that?
No, thank you. I think you covered it very well, and I'm sure you are going to talk about mainly the use cases in the future questions.
Yeah, let's get to that now. Tell me about what your goals are and some of the stuff Masoud just mentioned.
Yeah, so the goals and objectives are to create a balanced set of specifications which can allow for the widest types of uses possible. One of the things that's unique about GVP is that it's not fixed in its location. It can be moved around. It can be in an area the size of a state. Or it can be in a very focused area, such as a venue or a location or a stadium, or for that matter, a backyard. And the purpose of this use is so wide that the FCC and us are encouraging a wide variety of uses. There are some limitations, but there's a lot of exciting possibilities, including the use of 3D goggles, IoT, object and location, and many, many other objects. Masoud, maybe you could go into the use cases a little more.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Richard, for your explanation. Yeah, actually, as everybody know, the AFC operation was designed to make sure that the high power, unlicensed, or even proprietary solutions are allowed in 6 gigahertz band. But the assumption was that in that case, the access point would provide their location with the assumption of some uncertainty in the horizontal and vertical direction. But beyond that, the assumption was that the access point is fixed and it's not moving. However, for the use cases that Richard explained, specifically assuming that like the wearable devices, the train operation using access point on the train, or any other use cases that we assume that the access point could be mobile, not necessarily portable, even mobile, we needed a solution, and that solution was designed as part of this new FCC NPRM, and we are developing the standard for that.
Within the standards, we're also adding in the different kinds of architectures that can be used for geofenced control. And this is a new area for the FCC. They've used geofencing before, but these different kinds of architecture used in an unlicensed arena give it a very unique appeal. And one of the goals and objectives is to set forth those possible architectures, which obviously can grow over time. Steph?
All right. So can you give me a little background, or who do you think, if you were looking for new people to be involved in this task group, who does this appeal to?
Well, we typically appeal to anyone who is either going to be an operator, a provider, a vendor who provides equipment for the operation, or those that are affected by the use. That could also be systems integrators or network providers, or even companies that are just looking to use and have solution cases. So if you would like to have some kind of influence on how standards are developed and promoted, and how the best practices occur in the industry, we would invite you to join in.
Yeah, I would extend that a little bit. Even those companies and entities that are not necessarily a GVP vendor, I would suggest them to be involved as well. And for the reason for that is because all of them are operating in the same frequency range, and there are some coexistence between the existing unlicensed operations such as LPI, VLP, and even standard power and GVP operation. I would invite all of those either vendors, users, or like the system providers to be involved in this process. And also test labs. I think test lab is another entity, because the goal of this activity is to develop the test plan for GVP as well. So these are the different entities that we want them to be involved in this process.
Okay, so you just touched on what I was going to ask next, is like, what is the resulting work product or work products of this group?
Yeah, so I can, Richard, if you don't mind, I'll take that. So keep in mind that the outcome of this group is kind of aligned with Wi-Fi Alliance. We are going to work together with Wi-Fi Alliance to come up with the results. I would categorize the result into a few categories. Number one is an interface between the GVP devices and the geofencing system. Keep in mind that geofencing system kind of resembles what we had in AFC. This is different. It's not AFC, but from a kind of architectural perspective, this is similar to AFC. So the protocol and interface between the device and the geofencing system, which we call it SDI, the development of that is one of the results of this activity, aligned with that we are working along with Wi-Fi Alliance. The second kind of group of documentations that we need, and it's pretty important, is to develop the requirement, all the requirement, both for the geofencing system as well as the GVP devices, such as what type of propagation model we are using, how the communication should be done, how many times, how we handle the incumbents. So for that, the Win Forum has designated a test specification called TS 1024, which is going to be an extension to our existing specification for AFC, which is TS 1014. We expect there would be a lot of similarities, especially when it comes to interpreting FCC databases and other things. So that's the second group of kind of documentation and outcome of this activity. In addition to these, then we need to switch to the test plan. The test plan, both for the geofencing system as well as the GVP devices, are another activity of WinForum Group, coordinated with Wi-Fi Alliance. And when we say test plan, it includes the test plan itself, the set of test vectors, and the test harness. So these are the three activities that we need to do for testing. And Wi-Fi WinForum and Wi-Fi Alliance are working together to develop a combination. And one document that fits these is a traceability matrix that WinForum is going to generate. So if you want to summarize, SDI protocol, requirement, and the test plan, which includes test plan itself, test vector, test harness, and traceability matrix. And finally, the last document that we might look at is there is an existing supplementary information document in WinForum. It's TS5008. We don't expect a major change for compared to AFC. However, that's another document that we need to pay attention. And if for any reason any change is needed, we are going to capture on that. Richard, do you have anything else to add?
No, I think that covers it all. We do all of this in conjunction with the requirements that are set forth by the FCC, and we stay in regular communications with them to make sure that we're doing the things that they want to see done.
Stephanie, if it is fine, can I also categorize what type of databases we are dealing with in this activity?
Sure, go ahead.
Yeah, so I'll make it quick. So we are looking at four type of databases that the geofencing system has to handle with. So number one is the ULS, the FCC database that includes all of the incumbents, very similar to how we did in the AFC standard power. That's number one. Along with that, as I mentioned, there is a supplementary database that WinForum developed as part of the specification TS5008. That's the second one that we are going to work with. Then the third set of databases that we are dealing with are the environmental database, such as like if there is any site-specific information or clutter or NLCD. So that's the third category, environmental databases. And the fourth one are the EAS, the Equipment Authorization System that FCC is going to issue later on for the certified GVP devices, depending on whatever grant note that they're going to put. So these are the four category of databases that in this group we have to pay attention to.
Okay, thanks. And what about a timeline? Do we have a general timeline for this?
I can start, and Richard, you can please help me on completing that. So we are thinking about basically completing all the requirement for GVP by the end of 2026, and that includes the supplementary information, the SDI protocol, as well as the TS1024, which is the requirement document. Then we use basically the first 6 to 9 months of 2027 for developing all the test plan, including, as I said, test plan itself, test vectors, the test harness, preparing the labs, and both for the geofencing system and the devices. So our expectation is that by the end of Q3 2027, the standardization is completed, and then we use the next few months to make sure work with FCC to make sure everything is approved by them. So hopefully within Q4 of 2027, the ecosystem would be ready to commercialize this product.
Just to add, WinForum works on a consensus basis, which means that we bring together all different kinds of companies and we come to an agreement on how things should be done, or even across entities that may be at odds. So when we turn something in, when we're voted on, when we approve the technical specification, it's something that is mutually agreeable.
Yeah, that's one of the great aspects of the forum. And I would like to note that any of these specifications that Masoud mentioned are available at our website at 6gigahertz.wirelessinnovation.org. All right, anybody have anything else to add?
Looking forward to a good process.
I would reiterate what Richard said, and that the first of all, the quality and also the performance and the timeline that we can achieve in this group all depends on the participation from people who are involved. So we strongly recommend people to get involved so that we have a high quality and on time product along with Wi-Fi lines.
Great. Yeah. All right. Well, thank you, gentlemen. I appreciate your time. Apparently, my cat does too. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you again soon.
Great. Thank you.